All right, Pavel, we're recording. Good to see you, man. Nice to meet you. And look what
Yeah,
Lauren's wearing here.
hello. Like, what a beautiful t-shirt.
And is there anything on the back of this one? Yeah, liberation.travel on
Virtual
the
travel.
back. Yeah.
Now we have a new edition of this t-shirt because this is like an old logo. So we have we did like redesign and rebranding, and now we have completely new shining logo. So I will send you like a new t-shirt when you give me the address.
Well, this one you would have got, I guess, from BTC Prague or Liberty in Our Lifetime. Liberty in Our Lifetime, yeah. And I think you were there the last 2 years, or certainly the last 1 year.
I think it was last year, maybe
Yeah.
last year. Yeah,
You
last
had a
year.
bunch of kids helping on the desk.
Yeah. Yeah. It was exactly like our desk. You remember correctly.
All right. Well, Lauren, what does it say on the t-shirt? Opt out, enjoy your liberation. So what do you think liberation means? Or is that your question?
I know what liberation means.
Yeah,
I
go on.
think doesn't liberation mean like freedom?
Yeah, can be. I think it's basically the path towards freedom.
Path
You
towards
can,
freedom. Bitcoin being
yeah.
one of those paths. And the work that Pavel does at Liberation Travel is another path. What do you think Liberation Travel would do? Do you know? Do you know?
I think I might know what liberation travel is doing. Like gets you a visa in a country that I have forgotten.
Well, it's not just one. There are several choices.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what is liberation?
Travel.
Freedom, travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we basically helping people opt out of the system, or maybe by other words, we are helping to decrease exit cost. The problem is that people stay at one place and they use like all services in one country just because for them it's just too expensive or complicated or bureaucratic to leave the country and to be like a customer of another company in a different country. So basically what we are just doing, we are decreasing these exit costs. So anybody can easily leave and become the customer of the global market.
Excellent. And that's what we're going to learn about today. And hopefully the following conversation will help a lot of plebs um, think deeper about this and get in touch if there's anything that they want to further discuss. Any more questions, Lauren?
No, I didn't get prepared because all you did is come in and say podcast,
Yeah. Oh well, if you go upstairs and if you think of any further questions, you can come down and ask them.
podcast. Okay, yep. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Bye.
Okay, Pavel. So, how on earth did you get into this line of business? What made you think about
Yeah,
exiting?
maybe I should like describe my background. Like
Mhm.
I'm the computer hacker. So basically, I was hacking like I have like a two penetration testing company, and we are like a IT security company. And I was hacking, I have been hacking for the last 20 years. And if you know like what hacking is, you know that hacking is basically state of mindset. And so instead of hacking computer system, I just started I started to hack like legislations and like legislation in different countries and looking for the best services in the best country. I coined the term which is called global opportunism, which is like a bit provocative, but I really like this term, this word. Global opportunism basically means that you, as an opportunist, you are looking for the best services and best products from the global perspective. So what do? You decentralize different aspects of your personal business life to different countries in such a way that it's the cheapest for you, it's the best, and yeah, that's all. Quite easy.
Okay, all right. So computer hacking. Okay, let's go
Computer
there for a
hacking. So
little.
basically, I'm still hacking.
Yeah.
It's like a mindset. I'm still hacking, but instead of computer system, I'm just hacking this legislation and just trying to find the best combination, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, like normally like a government has a monopoly over specific territory, like a land. But fortunately, we have like 200 countries in the world, and all these countries are competing each other. And they are competing about their customers, about the residents, for example, or citizens. So, so I think like if you're looking at now, like we are in a global society, it's very cheap and very easy to travel anywhere. So I think that it's high time to choose your best provider of any service, like globally, from the global perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
We can say it about basically any service, beginning like residency, tax residency, and then like a mobile operator, the bank account. So basically, we are helping to find the best service provider in different areas for our customers.
Right. Okay. Shall we do a little let's do a little example. Let's kind of like do a faux kind of live onboarding. Let's say I was a customer and I came to you and I was looking at like decentralizing my life. I wanted to be in a lower tax bracket. 0 is perfect. For most people, I think they would agree, especially Bitcoiners out there that don't want to get involved in any of these taxes and state legislations anymore because we freedom money, right? We want to opt out. What might that look like? And I know it's going to be kind of different for somebody in the EU versus somebody in the UK. Is there a lot of differences there? And then certainly completely different for somebody in the US, I'm imagining.
Yeah. I would ask you like a couple of questions. The first question will be, where is your citizenship? So you're like a UK citizen.
Mm-hmm.
The second question is where you stay most of your time. So if there is like a country where you stay like more than 6 months per year, or if you're willing to travel, so basically if you're able to change your life, so you can afford to stay, for example, less than 6 months in each country, because then the situation for you can be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, if you are willing to travel, like more, not to stay anywhere more than 6 months, then another question will be, what kind of business do you do? Another question will be, where are your customers, in which countries? And basically, the answer to this question is usually enough for me just to provide you some like a practical recommendation where to get the residency, for example, create a company, open a bank account, and so on. And another question should be, is your business like a crypto only, or your business needs like a bank account? That's another question.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, then, in my particular case, UK citizen, but have been living in France for the last 6 or 7 years and have a carte de séjour, which is kind of a residency, I suppose. It gives me the right to live in France.
So it basically means, because you stay in France most of your time, you're probably tax resident of France. So basically, you pay taxes to the French tax office. To be sincere, like France is one of the biggest tax hell.
Yep.
together with Spain. So you probably pay a lot of taxes. If you're willing to, so if you want to stay living in your in France and have like a central interest in France, then the only way how to so basically then we can do optimization on the not the personal level but the business level. So we can still optimize, for example, your companies, but on personal level you are and you will be the tax resident in France. If you don't want to pay like the taxes from crypto, for example, the only way, if you want to stay living in France, is to live from the loan. So basically, you have to use your Bitcoin as a collateral, and there are many services, decentralized or decentralized services, and you should use like a Bitcoin as a collateral, and you should ask for like a stable coins, loan in stable coins or in fiat, and you can send this money to your bank account for some specific interest fee, and you can basically leave from this loan. And what is quite interesting in this scenario, you basically are not sending your crypto, so it's not a tax event because you leave from the loan. What is quite interesting about this scenario is that if you believe that Bitcoin will go to the moon, everybody believes Bitcoin will go to the moon. At least most audience, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you okay, so if you believe that Bitcoin will go to the moon, what you can do, so when you basically put some collateral and you ask for the loan for the half of value of this collateral, for example, what you can do when the value of Bitcoin is increased, you can take the part of this increased collateral, and you can use this increased collateral as a collateral for the second loan, and you can use the second loan to pay the first one. You know, and again, when Bitcoin goes to the moon, the value of collateral, you know, because you always compare the value of collateral, you are comparing it to the value of fiat you are just like you ask for. Then Bitcoin will go to the moon. You just take this increased collateral and you use it as a collateral for the third loan. You pay the second loan by the third loan. And what is quite nice about this scenario, you can do this. You can do this until the end of your life, or until the end of the government that force you to pay taxes. That's all. In all cases, you are not selling your crypto because you're just basically asking for multiple loans. You know, but of course, there's two conditions for this scenario. One condition, Bitcoin has to go to the moon. Second, second requirement is, if not, you need to have a lot of Bitcoins. Yeah.
To cover
so either you have a lot of Bitcoin, so you can afford to live from these loans, or you just you can just rely that Bitcoin will go to the moon. And this situation. So that's what I recommend you. Like most rich people, the richest people in the world, they don't pay taxes, and they don't pay taxes because they live from the loan. So it's quite easy.
Right. And I'm thinking now, what platforms have you used to do that? I'm thinking DeFi by the Hodl Hodl team, or Ledden maybe.
There's like one interesting project of my friend, so I would like to promote the project of my friend, which is called Firefish.io. Maybe you know this, like it's pure Bitcoin project. So you basically this company Firefish.io, they help you to find the another party which will lend you like some fiat. So basically you sign the contract with this like a party. You basically put your Bitcoin collateral to some smart contract. So basically in this situation is like a 2 of 3 smart contracts. So two parts have to sign the contract to be able to release money from this contract. So Firefish, what is quite interesting about Firefish is that basically the lender cannot steal your money. So basically, at least like two parties have to agree to release the money. Another option, very popular, is Nexo. You probably know Nexo, but in Nexo.com, in this situation, you need to pay them, or you need to send them like a Bitcoin, and then they will send you like a fiat to your bank account. Another option. So these are like a centralized solution. Centralized solution means there are some specific companies behind these solutions. And then you have like a lot of decentralized solutions, like a MakerDAO, for example, or AAVE, or then you have liquidity, for example. So you have like multiple different projects. You should just like analyze. I would recommend you the book of my my good friend. I can send you a link later. Like a few days ago, he released like a new book on Amazon in English, and the goal of this book is just to show how to live from the crypto loans, how to live from Bitcoin without selling it. So immediately after this podcast.
Yeah. What's the name of the book? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm going to send you this book. Wait a moment.
So the two companies you've
yeah.
so far mentioned, farfuture.io and Nexel, Nexl. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a moment. I'm going to try to find this book. Or maybe we can do that like later, but
yeah, there's no rush on that. So right, okay, so that's one option. What about somebody that's looking to get residency in another country? Because I know you've got on your website, you've got 2 or 3 or even more actually countries listed. There's a reason you've chosen those particular countries. Do you just want to run down why and how someone might go about doing that?
Yeah, okay, so I'm sending the link to the book. I have just found it. Okay. So this is a book. It's called like How to Harness the Value of Bitcoin Without Having to Sell It. So
catchy title. Love it. How to harness the value of Bitcoin without having to sell it. All right.
Yeah.
So this is your orange citadel and a way to short fiat currencies. And this is by
Juraj Bednar. Yeah. Okay. So one important information is that this is recommendation for all people who cannot leave easily or who have to stay at one place more than 6 months. For example, is your situation. Then if you're willing to travel, so for example, at least if you're willing, for example, live 5 months in France, 5 months in the UK, 2 months vacation in Caribbean islands somewhere, in this situation, you may have like a better tax residency, because in this situation, when you don't stay anywhere more than 6 months, and when you don't have like a center of your interest, usually center of your interest is like a permanent residency or temporary residency. So in this situation, your tax residency is the place where you have permanent residency or temporary residency, which can be the country like Paraguay, Panama, or Uruguay. Why these countries? Because all these countries, they have something what is called territorial taxation, which basically means if you're tax resident of this country, so you don't need to pay, even you don't need to declare any taxes from your foreign income, some income out of these countries, because like all European countries, they have like a worldwide taxation, which basically means if you earn money from any country as a tax resident of France or the UK, you have to pay taxes from a worldwide income, including Bitcoin, including crypto. That's the main difference. So maybe I'm going to send you another interesting link. It's like a link of countries in the world where you can see which countries have like a worldwide taxation. If you can open this link, I'm just sending it.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, so open this link.
Yeah, it's a Wikipedia link. Yeah.
Okay, so in this link, the worst countries from the tax perspective are these pink countries. You can see like the US, for example, Hungary, and some other countries, because these countries, they are Eritrea, is like a north of Ethiopia. These countries, they have citizenship-based taxation, which basically means you have your tax duty associated with your citizenship. So it doesn't matter where you live. For example, if you're the US citizen and you have your yearly income more than $120,000, you need to declare your worldwide income to the IRS, and you have to pay taxes. Most countries, as you can see, are these like a dark blue ones, which basically means they're residency based. So it means that if you live in these countries, you need to pay taxes from a worldwide income. And then you have these blue-white countries, which are the best. As you can see, there is like for example, Bolivia, there is like a Paraguay, there are like almost all countries of Central America, and all these countries, they have territorial taxation. And territorial taxation basically means that you need to pay and declare taxes only from the local income inside of the country. If you have any foreign income from abroad, you don't need to pay taxes, even you don't need to declare these taxes.
Right. Okay. So should we go through a scenario where I've said, okay, fine, I don't need to live in the UK for more than 6 months, and for whatever reason, Paraguay sounds like the best place to go and get some kind of residency there. How would that actually work? How does that look?
Okay, so most countries, the process is that usually you have to visit a country like a Paraguay, and firstly you have to ask for the temporary residency. Temporary residency in all countries, usually most countries, is usually for 2 years. And then when you fulfill some specific condition requirements, you can ask for permanent residency. So in case of Paraguay, in case of Panama, Paraguay, Uruguay, it's quite easy to get the temporary residency. So for example, in Paraguay, you just need your lease from the criminal record register, like a background check. You need like a birth certificate, marriage certificate. If you're divorced, you need like a divorce certificate. And that's all. You need to make the apostille of these documents, then translation of these documents, legal translation of these documents to Spanish, and then make the apostille of this translation. Or we can do that in Paraguay. And that's all. And you can ask for the temporary residency. And
do you have to go there in person to submit those, or can you just send them by post?
Yes. Like asking for a residency remotely is like some kind of oxymoron, you know?
Right.
So when you want to live there, you should be there. Cool thing about Paraguay, also like Uruguay, is that you can come there only for 3 working days. Usually, we will do the whole process during the 1 day. So this second and third day is basically just like a backup, like a reserve, you know, when something unexpected may happen. So yeah, so just 3 working days are enough to ask for like a temporary residency permit. In Paraguay, there is like a fast process what we basically offer, and this fast process means that in 1 month, your residency will be approved, and then so basically you will obtain behind you. So you will sign the power of attorney to our lawyers, and basically all subsequent visit they will represent you. They will do all these things behind you. And so in 2 months, so firstly you will get like a temporary residency, you will get like a residency card. In another month, you will get national ID, which is called cedula. Cedula, it's called on almost all South American countries, cedula, which is like an official national ID. With the national ID, basically you can do everything. So you can use it to open a bank account, to rent a car, even inside of Mercosur. Maybe I would explain like a Mercosur, like you have a Schengen in the EU. There is something similar in South America, which is called Mercosur. And core members, countries of Mercosur are Paraguay, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, and Bolivia now. So basically, using your cedula, using a national ID, you can move between this country like with your like a national ID inside of Schengen. So it's quite similar. It's basically like a cartel. It's also like an economical cartel. So they enforce like a special like a custom, like a import taxes, for example, when you want to import something to Schengen, to Mercosur. So just to enter the country and to leave the country, you are not using your passport anymore, because you can enter Paraguay, Uruguay, or Panama just using your cedula. So it's your official document. You can use it for everything. And then in another 1 year, so basically in 1 year, since you receive your temporary residency, you should come a second time to Paraguay just to keep your temporary residency. During this second visit, you can ask for the driving license. It's a really fast process. So basically in 2 or 3 hours, you will receive your driving license for like cars or motorbikes. And then you can open the bank accounts. So you can open, if you don't have like a local income in Paraguay, you can open just some limited basic bank account. But this is not a problem because Paraguay is a great country for the residencies, but it's not a great country for the for the banks. So you can use, for example, Georgia. We can help you to open the best bank account in Georgia. So we just call like a solo bank account with no limits, and it's super cool. And they support like a Paraguayan tax resident. So if you can see it that we are using each country for one specific purpose, like residencies in Paraguay, but banks are, for example, better in Georgia, you know. And the companies will create in completely different countries. Okay, so as I told you, second visit, ask for the driving license, open the bank accounts. And then in 2 years, exactly in 21st up to 24th of month of your temporary residency, you have to come third time. And then you can ask for the permanent residency in Paraguay. And like obtaining residency in permanent residency in Paraguay is very easy compared to the other countries, because in this situation you just need to show your university degree, so that you have some, it can be even like a bachelor university degree, or you have to demonstrate your economical activity during the last 3 months. So basically you just need to show that you are registered in the local tax office in Paraguay, that you fill some like monthly VAT reports, and that basically you need to ask for something which is called complementario tributario, which basically means that you are compliant with all tax law. And in this situation, you can, even if you don't have university degree, you can ask for the permanent residency. Why Paraguay and why not other countries? Okay, because to get the residency in Uruguay, it's much more complicated, because Uruguay, you have to live there majority of your time. So to get the residency in Uruguay, you have to live there at least 6 months, first 2 years. And then when you get permanent residency in Uruguay, you cannot leave the country because they can take your permanent residency. Why Panama? So, but Uruguay can be still a great country if you want to live there like a majority of your time. Then it's quite easy to obtain the permanent residency. In Panama, if you want to obtain, if you want to get the residency in Panama, you need to buy either apartment or property for at least $200,000, or the second option, you have to be employed in existing Panamanian company, and you have to work and pay like a taxes or like some basic taxes to in Panama the first 2 years, and then you can apply for the permanent residency in Panama. What about Salvador? El Salvador is now like a super cool destination. In Salvador, it's also a bit more complicated than in Paraguay, because in Salvador, you have to leave to get the permanent residency. You have to live there at least 200 days per year continuously. So basically, during these 200 days, you cannot leave the country, which I think it's quite complicated. Like, for example, I'm like a traveler. I cannot imagine staying somewhere, a special place like El Salvador, the whole 200 days. It's just too much. Or the other option is you need to have like a Salvadorian company, and you need to do business. Like you need to have main income from Salvadorian company. Local income from Salvadorian companies means you have to pay 30% tax, which is quite a lot. This is quite interesting about Paraguay. Paraguay has the lowest taxes in Latin America. It's exactly 10% from local income, 0% from from the foreign income if you're like a physical person. In case of companies, it's 10%, and VAT in Paraguay is only 10%. So basically, they have like a flat rate, and it's like a 10% for local income. For if you have income like from crypto, for example, or just selling crypto out of Paraguay, you pay exactly 0% taxes, which is cool. So what I want to tell you is that if you can afford to travel or not to stay anywhere more than 6 months, in this situation, you don't need to ask for the loan. And as a tax resident of Paraguay, you can easily sell your crypto. And when you receive this money, you don't need to make any declaration because it's like a foreign income for Paraguay. And even you don't need to pay any taxes. So it's very like a problem-free solution.
That sounds very interesting, I'm sure, to many people listening. So just to summarize, if you don't have to live more than 6 months in any particular country, let's just say, for now, sake of argument, in the UK, you live in the UK, but you're able to travel, you can work remotely, you're homeschooling, unschooling, or you don't even have kids yet. Because I'm thinking about like families as well. So you can go through this process. Would the whole family have to go through to visit, or could for example, I know I've got 4 kids. Do the 6 of us go and apply, or?
Yeah, everybody should go there.
Okay.
And a cedula, like a national ID, everybody will get national ID cedula, including like including like a 6 months kids. So
okay. Well, we like travel, so that wouldn't be a problem. So
yeah,
any excuse to go.
So everybody should come to this immigration office, but it's quite easy process. In case of children, we basically need just their birth certificate, which should be like apostillized, and that's basically all. And translated to Spanish. Yeah. So everybody should come to Paraguay or Uruguay or these countries, like the whole family, all family members, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And one maybe I should like mention one important information. Probably if you want to like you should be aware that this limit 183 days is like to become the tax resident of the given country can be a bit different in some other countries. It's different, for example, in Switzerland. I think in Switzerland, even in 2 months, you can become tax resident in Switzerland, for example, just staying like 2 months. Also in the US, it can be like it can be less. So most countries have this limit like 183 days, but some countries have it like a not less. I don't know, like 2 months, for example, 3 months. So you should definitely check it. There are like a multiple application that helps you to track your tax residency. So for example, I use the app which is called nomadlist.com. So basically I'm just writing the places where I'm staying, and when it's likely that I will become the tax resident of the given country 1 month before, I receive the mail. Hello, you will become like a tax slave in 1 month. Please leave the country.
That's nomadlist.com, did you say?
Nomadlist.com.
Yep.
And if you don't, and for people who are just super who don't care about their privacy and have no problem to have like a running one application that tracks their like location all the time, there is even something deep. There is application which is called Chrono, and this application I'm going to send a link to. And when you basically run this application, it's like a cron time in place, this app. When you use this app automatically tracks where you are most of your time. And if there is like when it's likely that you will become the tax resident of some country, you just need to receive a notification. So as you can see, that even now there are multiple applications helping like a digital nomads not to become like a tax resident.
Very interesting. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be tracked, like so I don't want the application that is basically tracking all my movements. But so that instead I've used like a nomad list also for my friends. So basically they know where I am and they can check, they can meet me and we can schedule some meetings. That's fine.
So back to the example. So Paraguay, and then that family, they go through the process, they get the national ID cards and whatever else. But as I understand it, they don't have to live in Paraguay for that other 6 months of the year. Like that's
This is quite interesting. Like in Paraguay, we are able to register you with the tax office. So you are become immediately as you receive your national ID or cedula. So we will register you at the tax office, and you basically have, from this moment you basically have some duties, which means you have to submit every month VAT declaration. And this VAT declaration is zero if you have no like a local income. So you basically, but you have to submit this zero declaration. And what is quite interesting about this zero declaration, in our community, we wrote our script that can do that completely automatically behind us. Like most of us are like IT people, so we totally automate the whole process of this VAT declaration. And that's all. To keep your residency, if you're like a temporary resident, to keep your residency, you have to visit Paraguay at least once a year. To keep if you're a permanent resident, so basically after 2 years where you become like a permanent resident, to keep your residency, you need to visit Paraguay just once per 3 years, which is really cool.
Well, that's
in
a
Panama,
lot of flexibility.
Yeah, so it's a lot of flexibility. In Panama, when you become the permanent resident of Panama, it's once per 2 years. That's
Right.
different. So
okay. Lots of thoughts now going through my head. There's I think probably the biggest barrier to entry for people is one, just education. They have no idea that this kind of lifestyle would even be available to them. Two, obviously, if you've got a young family and you're not ready to take the kids out of school and that kind of stuff, you're kind of really hamstringing yourself because you will have to be in that country in which you live for over the 6 months, right? Which is going to tip you over.
Okay. So a lot of people used to say that moving, like staying at one place, it's just natural, and moving all the time is not natural.
Right.
But when you see like the history of Homo sapiens, and when you are considering that we were like hunters moving all the time, like in 99% Homo sapiens, we were moving all the time. So just staying at one place, it's like a question of last few thousand years, after this agricultural revolution. But as Homo sapiens, we were moving all the time. And what is quite interesting in these days, it's the most comfortable, the most easy, and also the very cheap to move all the time, basically. So for example, I before I switched to this like a perpetual traveling regime, I live in Bratislava, and I bought like a huge house, and I took the loan, and then I realized that the amount of money I pay for the loan, it's enough for like a full-time traveling for the next 30 years. So what I did, like because it's the price of the properties in like in the developed Europe. So I sold this house, and I just realized, like the most valuable thing what we have is just our time. And so basically it doesn't cost me more. And even I'm just saving a lot of money because I don't need to pay taxes. I don't need to pay like expensive healthcare insurance or social insurance. So for me, in my situation, when I travel all the time, when I pay for the flight tickets every few weeks, and when I stay in hotels or apartments, it's cheaper solution for me than stay at one place, for example, in France and pay taxes. So basically, I'm traveling full time because it's the cheapest solution for me. That's
Yep.
and not only for me, but I'm pretty sure for most Bitcoiners.
I can
You
back
know,
that up because we experienced it. We did long-term travel between 2014 and 17 with the 4 kids. And you'd think it'd be the most expensive period of your life, right? But the complete opposite was true. And I write about it in my book and Choose Life. And it's this, it's oxymoronic. It's like this paradox. You like you because you get trapped into believing that travel is expensive because you treat yourself to that 1-2 week holiday per year where you go all inclusive and you spend $5,000 or $7,000, and it's a hotel room every night, and it's dinner, breakfast, and lunch out, and sitting by the pool and ordering wait service and room service. No, that's nonsense. Like, you know, when you actually, that's not travel. That's a holiday. That's vacation, and you know, that's a trap of the fiat hamster wheel in which we run. But when we started traveling long term, and you find your own hacks, you find your own stride, I was getting to the end of the month like, man, this is way cheaper than even being employed. Like, this is madness.
that's true. Like 2 years ago, I bought van. Like maybe you know Volkswagen California is a really like a small van. I really enjoyed it, and basically I'm also traveling with my kids like every time when it's possible. And like last time we spent almost 3 months just living in this van. We decided to reach like a North Cap, the northern place of Europe. And so yeah, definitely. Okay, Norway
How
was
many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
What age are they?
Their names are
The age.
ages are
Yeah.
age 12 and 10.
12 and 10, right? Okay. So
And we are traveling and we are traveling from like from the beginning, you know, like
right. So did they ever go to any kind of state school, or you were already gone way beyond that idea of
no. Like in this situation, I don't live together with like their like mom, so we are like separated. So it's so basically I care about all like holidays, all vacation. But I have a lot of friends, and there are like multiple options. I'm going to explain what you can do with kids. So either you can like homeschool them, so they can travel with you. This is one option for many people. Another thing, what is quite interesting, you have like an international change of schools. So basically, it means that your kid can, for example, studies few months in France, then he or she can continue studies, for example, in the UK, the same school, but just different countries. So there are like international schools which have like branches, you know, over the world. So basically, if you're just choosing like a right countries, your children still can visit just one school, but it's just in different countries. So this is definitely possible. You know, when you have like a children of diplomats and all these people, they used to visit like these schools. So this is like an option. What is really nice about like full-time traveling with kids, that your kids will be able to speak multiple languages, you know. This is like a super cool. So I know many couples traveling with their kids, and their kids like speak 4 languages, for example, just because they stayed 2 or 3 years in one country, they move somewhere else, and so on. So this is also really nice. And because, for example, I'm traveling with my kids since their childhood, I think for them it's much more easy to travel. They just need like a good food and internet connection, basically, you know, and some interesting things to do. That's all. So I think it's much more complicated for adults to travel all the time, not for kids, you know, because kids are really flexible, you know.
Way more adaptable. Yeah.
Definitely.
Adaptable. But the thing, again, another big barrier to entry for people doing this is they project their own fears and worries and anxieties onto their kids. It's like it's the easiest excuse. Oh no, we couldn't do that because they'd never fit in, or they'd never be able to cope, they'd never be able to handle it. It's like, no, That's all of your excuses, and you are literally looking in the mirror right now. The kids will be fine because they will be with you and they will thrive. And this is why, you know, I'm a big proponent of, well, I would call this world schooling in this case, where you just go traveling with your kids and, you know, take 2 or 3 months out. You don't have to go for 2 or 3 years, but take 2 or 3 months and go and test it, go and try it, and taking them out of school and taking back more control. Because what's happening in the UK again, especially, and in France, is they're really trying to lock down on parents taking their kids out of school and shaming absenteeism and all of this kind of nonsense and fining people in the UK. You get fined monetary penalties if you take your kids out of school because you want to go and see grandma on a Friday afternoon. Like, that's your only chance to have a long weekend with them or something like that. Or a family wedding might land midweek. Like, no, you're going to be fined if you take the kids out. You're like, this is absolutely astounding. And if that's not raising red flags for people, then it certainly should be.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm a big critic of this mandatory schooling system. Like, I don't like it at all. Like, I think like people should always have a choice or to decide what to do with their kids. Of course, like who else than parents? You know, like for sure. And the third option, you can still like put your children to like schools in Paraguay or Panama, and that's quite interesting because when you come to Paraguay, Panama, or any like these countries, you always pay the best private school and you always pay the best private hospital. And basically, the best private school and the best private hospital are in the given country are better than 90% or 95% school in France or the UK. You know, so this is quite interesting. So of course, like a public schools our public healthcare system sucks in these countries, but you use like the best private school and the best private hospital, and at the same time like a fees to the best private school or like a best private hospital, these fees are really low. So it's cheap for like average European. It's just cheap. So for example, yeah, it's even cheaper than you pay for the like a normal private school in Central Europe, for example. So you would be surprised how cheap it is. You know, because like a average salary in Prague is about $400, for example. So that's you have like a price, the similar prices, and yeah. So another interesting thing is that when you travel a lot and when you use this global healthcare insurance, because like all of us we use this global healthcare insurance, we have like a better like a healthcare system of the better. We have the best because we are choosing from the global perspective. You know, we are basically looking for the best hospital from for example, in Thailand, which is pretty cheap, or in any country, and you can go to the best private hospital in Switzerland, for example, and your global healthcare insurance will just cover it without no problems. And there is one interesting thing about what everybody should know, and this is like a crazy. In Europe, probably also in the UK, we have, if you have residency in any European country, you need to pay like a mandatory healthcare insurance. So for example, in Slovakia, it's like a 15% from your income as a physical person. Like even if you sell crypto like a Bitcoin, you need to pay 50% from selling your Bitcoin to the healthcare insurance. It's crazy, but it's true. It's crazy, but it's true. Okay, so basically all European countries, all European governments, they force people to pay like a mandatory healthcare insurance. So basically, you have like some specific healthcare. You have oligopoly of some specific healthcare insurance companies that just need to be their customer just because you live in the country and you have some income, so you just need to pay it. And of course, because it's just oligopoly, there are only few companies you can choose. There is no incentive to improve their services or to lower their prices. So that's why like a healthcare insurance, which is mandatory in all European countries, is quite expensive. But when you cancel your permanent residency and you start to look for like a global healthcare insurance from the global perspective, where is no regulation and there's like a pure competitive free market, you will find a really cheap, or I think pretty cheap, like a healthcare insurance that will work in all countries. And there is one interesting thing, I'm not sure about the UK or not sure about France, but I think it can be quite similar in Czech Republic and Slovakia. Every hospital, every medical doctor, every medical service provider has some quotas with the healthcare insurance. So, for example, if you're like a customer of healthcare insurance number one, this healthcare insurance number one has a contract with like your medical doctor that he can basically handle. Then he can basically make, for example, Rengen of 10 customers per week from these healthcare insurance. So there are some quotas, you know. So for example, in Slovakia, probably when you call to your medical doctor and you tell him, hey, I just need to make like a CT or I need to make like a Rengen or something like that. The first question medical doctor asks you, can you tell me the name of your health insurance company? You tell him your name of the whole health insurance company. He opens some Excel or some like a table where he can see like how many customer of the given healthcare company he can serve per 1 week or per 1 month, you know, because there are some quotas and limits. And then he will tell you, okay, so we have some, for this customer or this healthcare insurance, we have some like a free slots in 3 months or 4 months. Is it okay for you? And now what is quite interesting, I don't have like a permanent residency in Europe. I will call to your doctor, and when he asks me the question, where is your healthcare insurance like a company, I will tell I don't have any healthcare insurance company because I have like a global healthcare insurance company. I will pay everything by cash. And his question it will be, okay, so can you come tomorrow? So again, what I want to tell you, the healthcare system in Europe works much faster and much better when you pay by cash. Because everybody wants to cash, you know, because the healthcare insurance will pay in some periods and it's complicated. But when you pay to the like a private or you know any for any medical provider in cash, usually it's the fastest possible. So there is like a quite interesting paradox for our customers. They cancel the residency in their European Union country, and then they switch to the global healthcare insurance provider, and then the healthcare system in Europe, it started to work for them.
Right.
You know, it's a really it's really interesting just to say that when you are not the part, even you are not the resident, and you are just like out of the system, paying with cash, you're a privileged person, you know. So this is like also kind of interesting.
Mate, you've got so many hacks, and I'm sure we're only just scratching the surface. And I know we've given like just a quick brush over of what like a typical example might be, but anybody listening that wants to learn more, what's the best place? I mean, obviously it's not going to scale for you to take 50 phone calls over the next month or so if you get a rush of people. Is the website the best place, or do you have a team of people that are answering questions, or is there a Telegram group? Or
we have like a internal Signal groups for all our customer. We have like one international Signal group which is called Global Opportunist, where like all our customer can chat about like all these hacks. At the same time, we have a lot of like blogs at our website. The website is liberation.travel, so we can find more information about the process. I'm pretty active. Like I use probably all social networks, so and one important information since the beginning of this year, we started like a Liberation Travel Hacks newsletter, which I recommend you to subscribe. this newsletter because there are a lot of useful like a travel hacks, and these like opt-out hacks, and we have like a few thousand subscribed people there now, and I really recommend you to like subscribe to these liberation travel hacks. It's called.
What one question I didn't actually ask, I should have thought about this. If people are looking to go to Paraguay, is it cheap for apartments over there? Is there, what's the vibe? Are you looking at a city stay, a country stay? Do they have a mix of everything?
Okay, I can tell you exactly. Like 2 months ago, I bought the apartment in Paraguay. I bought the apartment in the best, the most expensive luxury district, which is called Villa Mora in Asunción. And for 90 square meters apartment with a gym and swimming pool, and with a 2 like a parking places, I pay $120,000.
Right. Okay. So cheap.
And
cheap is the word.
And there's nothing more expensive. There is nothing more expensive. Like for the so basically expect, and this is the best district, the best zone. So like if you go anywhere to another like a district of Asunción, it will be even cheaper.
Mhm.
So when I compare it with the Prague, or Bratislava, so it's maybe 3 or maybe 4 times cheaper like properties than in Prague. Maybe if you want to see like current prices, I'm going to send you the biggest like real estate portals.
Okay.
So this is like the biggest real estate portal in Paraguay. So just check the prices there.
And there, because I know there's Penguin Group over there, right? So that there's mining and Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin education going on in Paraguay. Has that hit the streets yet? Is there any merchant adoption? What's the feel amongst the locals?
Yeah, I think just us, like immigrants from Europe, European immigrants, we are just creating this like a crypto community. Because Paraguay now is a cash society. Most Paraguayan citizens, they don't have bank account. So like I think 60 or 70% people, they receive their salary in cash, by the way. So it's like a really cash society, no KYC, nothing. So they are a cash society. They even don't use like a bank account. And now in Paraguay, there is like I think there are 1 or multiple Bitcoin ATM machines, as I know. And we have like a few, 2 or 3 like a crypto dealers. So the people who can like trade a lot of crypto for cash, which is completely legal in Paraguay. So yeah, so definitely it's possible to use crypto if you know the right contacts. There are some like a restaurant that accept Lightning. We have like a Wikipedia, and we have all the information for our customers, where it's possible to pay by crypto, for example.
Got it. So it looks like it's all lakes because it's landlocked, so there's no beaches or anything like that, or countryside, I suppose.
Yeah, you can go to Uruguay. Uruguay is probably the most free country, at least from when we are thinking like a personal freedom, because everything is legalized in Uruguay. You can imagine it's the only country in the world which didn't ban drugs, for example. So you can have like all drugs for personal possession are completely legal in Uruguay. LGBT marriages are legal in Uruguay. Adoption of children, interruptions, like abortions. Like really everything you can imagine is like legalized in Uruguay. Uruguay has a beautiful beaches, Punta del Este. The problem with Uruguay is that it's expensive. Uruguay is maybe 2 or 3 times more expensive than Paraguay. So you can imagine Uruguay is maybe expensive like the UK. You would be surprised.
Wow.
It's not like a cheap country like a Paraguay. Paraguay is two
Mm.
times cheaper, maybe 3 times cheaper. It depends what. So Uruguay is the biggest problem of Uruguay is like it's pretty expensive country, but still Uruguay has territorial taxation, and what's quite interesting is that in Uruguay, where you have a company, you can and you want to move to Uruguay, you can ask for tax exception, and you don't need to pay taxes for the next 10 years, for example, in Uruguay. So Uruguay is like a really like a lot of IT people moved from Argentina to Uruguay just not to pay taxes. So Uruguay is like a tax paradise for Argentinians, and Paraguay is the tax paradise for Uruguayans.
Got it. And so the best case scenario you just laid out then for somebody that's living in mainland Europe, if they were to get their residency for Paraguay, they could live 6 months in their home country, air quotes, and then anywhere else throughout the world for the other 6 months, and they're living legally tax-free or tax very low.
Yeah, it should be like less than 6 months. Like it should be like
Okay.
less than 183 days. And usually you shouldn't have like a center of your interest in your country. So basically it means what we recommend if you have properties, for example, in the UK or in France, you should rent these properties. So it should be like apparent that you cannot come back, you know, because this depends strictly on the like a jurisdiction in the given country, you know. So maybe the best is just to consult this topic with your tax advisor to find out like if there are some potential issues. But what I tell you, if you don't live there like a majority of your time, this is like a main requirement. You shouldn't live in the given country, because then you are automatically like a tax resident of the given country, and you shouldn't have like a center of your interest. So you should so I recommend you to cancel your residency, for example, in the given country, just to not to have connection to the given country, and that's all. Yeah, which is quite easy. And many people they ask us that, you know, like if I renounce my permanent residency, will I have some problems, or will the government cause me some problem because I don't have the permanent residency? And these are like really like a wrong questions, because you have problems you may have problems just because you have the permanent residency, because you are all these like a register, the government register, like a healthcare insurance, lost social insurance, all these registers. So just when you are in the system, when you are in the databases of the government, they may cause you the problems. But when you leave the system, you know, there is no one who can like hurt you. You know what I mean?
And
So it's opposite. So it's opposite. So when you don't want to have like a interaction with the government, when you don't want to have any potential problems, you shouldn't leave the system, because they won't have like their like a postal address. They cannot send you anything. You just leave the system. You are not there. So what is interesting, when you leave the country, or when you leave the system, when you cancel your residency, you will have less problems than when you have like a permanent residency and everybody knows about you.
Yes. And so the situation here at the moment is that because the UK left the EU after Brexit, then British passport holders only get 90 days on, you know, the mainland Europe or throughout the Schengen area. You know, it's a little bit of a pain for those that like to travel a lot and you know, live this kind of flag theory lifestyle. So us having at the moment the carte de séjour, that kind of solves that. We can spend as long as we like in any other country if and when we want. But I get what you're saying. Like, as soon as you step, because with that was a poison chalice. With that comes all of the other stuff, because now you're in the system and you're easily tracked, and you're, you know, you're in the.
In your situation, it means that you're using your tourist visa, you can stay in France up to 90 days, like a 3 months. So if you want to live in France, you need some like a residency permit or something like that. There is like one interesting, the EU country, where you can live all the time and not pay any taxes, and not pay any taxes from like selling crypto, or not pay any taxes from a foreign income. And this country is Malta. But in this situation, you have to be like a tax resident of the other country, like Paraguay, for example, or Panama. So basically, you come to Malta and you just say, hey, I am the tax resident of Paraguay. I don't want to be your normal tax resident, but I want to be like your, it's called non-domicilized resident. So basically, you will be like a person who can live there like all the year, like you can be in Malta like 365 days, but you will keep your tax residence in Paraguay. So basically, in Malta, you don't need to pay taxes from foreign income, just for your local Malta income you have in Malta. And you can also sell crypto or anything, and you don't need to pay any taxes, because if it is like out of Malta. So this is quite interesting. With the residency in Panama, Paraguay, or the other country, like a territorial relaxation country, you can ask for this non-domicilized status in Malta and enjoy the life in European country with not paying taxes, and it's completely legal.
See, mate, you've got them all. You've got all the answers. I love it. All right, okay. I'll ask you one.
But France is problem. Also, Spain is problem. Like French tax office and Spanish tax office are like crazy. Just are really crazy. So when you become the tax resident of this country, fortunately you are not like a French citizen, I hope yet. So for you, it should be quite easy to leave the country. But yeah, like they can cause you like really a lot of problem, and they can check it and so on. So
okay, final question. A Bitcoin question, and the final question of each show. If you had one last orange pill left to give to somebody, who would you give that to, and why?
Like a specific person, I mean, you mean like who?
And that pill distills all of your knowledge about Bitcoin in one pill, that they will just take that pill and bam.
Probably to my father, because I really wish to change his opinions about many things, and just to open his head, and just I was thinking to give it to like the most influential like a politician in the world, but I hate politicians. So
Yep,
I would never,
that's a problem.
I would never give this like a special pill to any politician. My father, like someone in Spain, because he's like really important for me, and I think he should change a lot of his opinions. My father, probably.
Beautiful answer. And of course, there's never an incorrect answer. So, Pavel, thank you so much for coming on. And I hope people reach out if they've heard something here that's interested them. What other conferences are you going to be at over the next year or so?
Good question. So I'll be like in May and June. I'll be in Prague. Probably we'll meet together. There will be like a BTC Prague.
Yep.
So like a Liberation Travel, we'll have like a desk there. So if anyone wants this beautiful Liberation Travel T-shirt, there will be possibility to pick up this T-shirt there. And so BTC Prague, I think BTC Prague is probably now the biggest European Bitcoin conference. Then one week before, I think 1 week before, there will be like a MonroeCon, the biggest Monero conference. Monero is my favorite shitcoin, to be to be sincere. And also the half of May there will be Pizza Day. Pizza Day is also a Bitcoin international Bitcoin conference in Prague, in Prague. So I recommend people to visit also Pizza Day. And then I will see if if I visit some like there's like a Mallorca blockchain days, so another conference I used to visit during summer, but not sure about this year. And then in the end, in the beginning October weekend, we organized like a HCPP, Hackers Congress Paralympolis, the biggest cryptoanarchistic conference in Prague. It'll be like 11th year. So I strongly can recommend this conference. It's like Freedom Bitcoin conference. So it's not like a commercial Bitcoin conference. We consider Bitcoin as a liberation tool. So this is like a liberation conference. It's like a conference about freedom and how Bitcoin can help us to achieve more freedom. So if you like this topic, you should definitely come to HCPP.
Will you be at Liberty in Our Lifetime again?
Yeah.
Beginning
Okay.
of November this year, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
In Prague.
I want to be there, but at the same time, there will be another conference where I want to go, but not sure yet. It'll be like a La Bitcoin in Buenos Aires, which is the biggest Bitcoin conference in Latin America, and then Monratopia, which is also the like a Monra conference, and in Buenos Aires. So all these conferences will be in Buenos Aires. So if you, dear Bitcoiners, if you're planning trips to somewhere to Latin America, go to Buenos Aires, definitely.
Cool.
And that's all. I don't have some other plans. So
do you, when you're helping people with this, do you also have like all the flight hacks and everything else already ironed out? I'm assuming like the best flight deals that people can find to get out there.
Okay, so so what is very popular like in the community of like travel hackers is something what is called like a hidden city flights. If you know these hidden I can send you like it's called also like a skiblect. Maybe you know the web these like a search engine for like a cheap flights. These are quite interesting practice like a flight operators or like a flight companies really hate. I'm going to explain you how it works. So basically you want to travel from point A to the point B. And for example, I'm going to tell you like a specific example that works. So for example, you want to fly from San Francisco to Panama City. When you check the flight ticket from San Francisco to Panama City, the price of the one-way flight ticket is $1,000. This works. You can check it. This works. This is like something that works. Instead of buying the flight tickets from San Francisco to Panama, you buy the flight tickets from San Francisco to San Jose, which is the capital of Costa Rica, via Panama. And these flight tickets will cost you $300. That's all. So basically you save, so you basically save immediately 70% of price just when you don't buy like a flight tickets directly to Panama, just to San Jose, and you just leave like in Panama City. That's all. Of course, there are some like you should use like carry-on luggage, for example, because your checked luggage will travel to San Jose. But this is like a typical like a hack many people use. Again, like a travel agencies, they hate it, but these websites keep like it. They even had some like legal issues with like a flight companies, but they want it, so you can use this website. So I think this is one of the most like a favorite hack to find like a cheap flight tickets, basically.
Cool.
And then I use the application which is called Flight Connections. And Flight Connection, basically, you can see the direct flight connection from the given point to some other place. So you know, basically all like a flight companies which are flying between on this route, you know, from the point A to the point B, for example, which is also like also can help you to save a lot of money. So another option is you can also, if you have like a good friend, you may become of what is the name? You can become like a standby. There are like like a standby programs. Standby basically means that if you're related, if you're like from family of pilots, for example, you can fly as a standby, which basically means if there is like a free seat in the given plane for like a funny price, you can enter the plane and you can fly, from $50 or $100 something like that. So standby programs is also like a cool hike, but it's like a private thing. It's not possible like a pay for or become like a member of these standby programs. Yeah, well, that's all.
All right, man. Well, appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. And I'm gonna keep chatting. I'm gonna keep asking you questions about this once we stop recording. So hang around.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks a lot for the invitation.
You're welcome.